She thought her name was a VIP pass. I made sure it was a life sentence. The pulse in the Ivory doesn't thump against your ribs. It seeps into your bloodstream. A slow-moving narcotic designed to dissolve anxiety, doubt, and consequence. That precision took 2 years. I'm a Laravance, and while you're buying the crystal, you're really paying for my obsession with order. I don't dance on the floor. I observe from a room of one-way glass, watching the machine I built consume wealth and produce euphoria. It was 11:37 on a Saturday. The main floor was a perfect sea of tailored wool and gleaming silk. I was in the shadows of the Apex Lounge, our highest tier, sipping mineral water, my eyes tracing the choreography of my staff. Every movement was rehearsed. It was pristine. It was a symphony of controlled excess. If you appreciate seeing arrogance meet its perfect match, you should subscribe. Because tonight, an inflated ego was about to be permanently deflated. I saw the disruption. He was in booth 3, a spot reserved for industry titans, not for trust-funded socialites whose biggest achievement is a viral dance clip. But there he was, Leo, standing on the custom velvet bench, shoes on the fabric, breaking rule 1. He had a phone on a stabilizer, a ring light casting a harsh glare on neighboring guests. Sunglasses indoors, shirt open to reveal a poorly executed phoenix tattoo. He was shouting, performing for his camera, grabbing a server's wrist to pull her into his shot. A nerve flickered in my temple. Silas, I murmured into the mic by my ear. Go for Silas, my head of security responded. Silas was a monument of calm violence. Booth 3. Why is Leo contaminating my upholstery? Paid the new valet, Silas replied. Shall I escort him to the curb? I watched Leo gesture wildly as a companion poured tequila directly into his mouth. It was vulgar. It was everything the Ivory was designed to filter out. We deal in subtlety. He was broadcasting crassness. Not yet, I said, though every fiber wanted him gone. Who's with him? The usual satellites. 2 guys discussing meme stocks, 3 women looking profoundly bored. And he's live. Tagging us. Caption says, Ivory is asleep. We're the alarm clock. A cold, surgical fury settled within me. The insult was irrelevant. The breach was everything. The Apex Lounge has one rule, etched into the entryway. Leave the light outside. No recordings. We host senators, hedge fund managers, artists fleeing the paparazzi. They pay for obscurity. Leo wasn't just being rude. He was dismantling my product. I moved a phantom through the crowd. I needed a closer view. I ascended to the upper gallery looking down. On his phone screen I saw him scrolling comments. He wasn't experiencing the night. He was consuming his own reflection. He grabbed a bottle of vintage Armand de Brignac, a waist, and shook it. Don't, I breathed. He popped the cork. Foam geysered over the table, drenching the imported silk drapes and splattering the jacket of the man in the next booth. That man turned. He was a private equity regular who spent 6 figures a year here. He was livid. Leo didn't notice. He was laughing at his screen. Silas. Ready. Send Anya. Have her politely request he put the device away. Let's witness his response to a polite no. I watched Anya, my most diplomatic host, glide over. She leaned in, her smile flawless, gesturing delicately at the phone. Leo's grin melted into a sneer. He jerked back, his voice rising. He pointed a finger in her face. Then he did the unforgivable. He pushed her. A drunken, petulant shove. The music didn't stop, but for me the world went silent. Boss. Silas's voice was a blade. Wait, I instructed. Let him excavate his own grave. I want to know his depth. Leo was back on his live stream, no doubt playing the martyr. He scanned the room with contempt, as if he'd built it with his own hands. He had no idea the woman he'd called Aunt Alara a decade ago was now architecting his social exile. He fancied himself the star. He was about to learn he was a disposable extra. Let him stay, I said. But assign a shadow. Log every interaction, every drink. I want a full audit. Understood. What's the endgame? I retreated to my office. The endgame is legacy, Silas. Some need reminding of who poured the foundation. I pulled up the security feed. Leo was a blur of vanity. I opened a drawer and retrieved a physical file. The name on the tab, Charles Whitlock, Leo's father. The reason for my prior patience. Enjoy the spotlight, Leo, I whispered. It's about to get very, very expensive. To understand my restraint, you must understand the city 12 years prior. It was raw. I was 34, with blueprints for the area and rejections from every lender. Then came Charles Whitlock. Old money. Shipping magnate. He found me in a basement bar, listened to my pitch over a 40-year-old rum. You want to sell shadows? He'd mused. In a town that worships the sun. The brightest smiles hide the darkest secrets, I'd replied. I'll build them a beautiful darkness. He wrote a check the next morning. No board, no strings. Just a handshake and a quiet request. Build your masterpiece. And keep an eye on my son should I ever blink out. That was the debt. Leo was 14 then, all awkward limbs and quiet admiration. I'd let him sip soda in the unfinished booth while sound systems were tuned. When Charles passed, the funeral was massive, and Leo transformed. Grief didn't soften him. The inheritance hardened him into a caricature. He bought clout, leased supercars, curated a persona of abrasive new wealth. At first, out of respect, I granted him access. I told my team, he's Charles's boy. Be courteous. But courtesy isn't license. The decay was slow. First the entitled demands, then the critiques of our music, then the whispers I heard myself at a gallery opening. I was a statue by the champagne. Leo was holding court. The Airy? I'm basically a creative consultant. Alara's brilliant, but she's from another era. I'm the future. I stood frozen, a canopy untouched. Creative consultant. He couldn't read a profit and loss sheet. I should have ended him then. But I saw Charles's ghost in his jawline. I let it pass. I thought it was a phase. Watching him now on my monitor shoving Anya, desecrating my space, the debt was paid. The memory of Charles Whitlock was a covenant, and Leo had just broken the seal. I called my attorney, Miriam. Alara. Trouble. Her voice was crisp. A pest problem. The Whitlock heir. He's graduated from nuisance to active threat. Assaulting staff, violating the NDA. Revoking his access will be noisy, she warned. He'll scream discrimination. He'll mobilize his followers. I'm aware, I said, leather groaning as I leaned back. That's why I'm not revoking access. I'm redefining it. Look into the trust's conduct clause. The one about moral turpitude. That's a sledgehammer, Alara. You need proof of material harm to the estate's reputation. On my monitor, Leo was now attempting to pour liquor into the mouth of an unsteady guest while his friend recorded. Do you think I can procure proof? I asked, my tone icy. I believe I'll hand him the shovel and let him dig. Miriam sighed. Be cautious. A cornered peacock is still a dangerous bird. He's not a peacock, I said, watching him stumble. He's a mayfly. And I'm about to turn out the light. My phone hummed. 1:07 a.m. A text from an actor. A discreet client in our jade room. No message. Just a screen recording. It was Leo's live feed. The camera panning past his own face to the dim corner where my client sat with a companion who was not his spouse. The caption. Secrets don't make friends. #Airy exposed. My veins turned to ice. This wasn't a breach. It was an extinction-level event. If this spread, the silence I sold would evaporate. Our clientele would disappear. I didn't call Silas. I walked. I moved through hidden passages, emerging near the decks. I found Silas. Code black. Leo is broadcasting a client in Jade. Activate the localized jammer for that grid. Now. Silas nodded, speaking into his comm. I watched as Leo, in his booth, suddenly scowled at his phone. He waved it, searching for a signal we just severed. Now apologize to our guest in Jade. Comp everything. Tell him the offender is being handled. Then invite Leo to the vault. Tell him I want to discuss a brand ambassadorship. Stroke the ego until it purrs. Silas almost smiled. He'll believe it. He's desperate to. Once he's in the vault, secure his phone. Claim it's for a secure brainstorming session. Wipe the relevant files. I watched the play unfold. Jackson approached. Leo's belligerence melted into preening satisfaction. He followed, A lamb to the silent slaughter. Step 1, containment. But it was a bandage. The wound needed cauterization. Our quarterly event, the Penumbra Gala, was next week. The most selective night of the season. All right, Leo. I whispered to my empty office. You want a seat at the table? Let's see how you handle the menu. I wrote on a fresh pad. Operation Sunset. 1. The bait. 2. The witness. 3. The eclipse. I wasn't banning him. I was building a museum of his failure. By Thursday, his messages were frantic. Hey Alara, my invite got lost? Need my table details for Friday. I didn't reply. Let the silence fester. He began posting. Big moves at the Airy Friday. The comeback. He was lying to his audience, betting on his ability to storm the gates. Friday night arrived. The theme was gilded noir. The air smelled of oud and expectation. In my viewing box sat Marcus Thorne, a man of quiet power and impeccable suits. This is control, Alara, he remarked, surveying the room. Chaos is an expense, I replied. My eyes were on the door feed. Leo arrived in a gold jacket, no shirt, a pack of sycophants in tow. The doorman, Victor, stopped him. I watched the argument. Leo gestured wildly. Victor stood implacable. After a calculated delay, Victor let him in, but made him surrender his phone at coat check. No protective pouch. He entered agitated. He looked for his usual booth. It was occupied by a tech CEO. He accosted a server, was directed to the bar. The demotion was a visceral slap. He drank angrily, scanning for recognition. Then he looked up. He saw Marcus Thorne in my box. I saw the plan form in his eyes. He straightened his jacket and moved toward the stairs. An incoming variable, I told Marcus. The Nimbus Visionary. The one with the pitch deck written in emojis, Marcus noted dryly. Digital art auctions, tokenized entry. Alara here, he said, thumbing toward me. She's about the past. I'm about the future. He reached for the decanter of Macallan M on the table, my decanter, and poured, spilling. Leo, I said, voice low. You're intruding. He spun, emboldened by the audience. Relax, Auntie. We're just talking vision. You could learn something. He turned back to Marcus, dropping his voice to a mock confidential tone. The issue with legacy operators is sentiment. They get attached to the vibe. You need a shark. He put his feet on the lacquered table. Fund me, and this place is a museum in a year. No offense, Alara. Just progress. He grinned, believing he delivered a killer pitch. Marcus looked at me. A micronod. Leo, I said, standing. The meeting is over. I pressed a button on my desk. 2 clicks. The door opened. Silas entered with 2 others. Leo blinked. Security? Really? Silas didn't speak. He moved with terrifying economy, lifting Leo by his collar and belt. Hey, get off. Marcus, tell them. Marcus examined his cufflinks. You are a guest, I stated. Your welcome has been rescinded. You can't. My father built you. He built an opportunity, I corrected. You built a liability. They dragged him kicking from the box. I followed to the rail. They took him on the grand staircase, a walk of shame through the heart of the Apex Lounge. The music dipped. All eyes turned. The tech CEO smirked. The influencers watched, their phones locked away, forced to simply remember. They hauled him to the service exit. I returned to Marcus. An effective due diligence session, he said. Vegas. I'm in. Thank you, I replied. But I wasn't finished. I texted Miriam. Phase 2. Initiate. I texted IT Global Blacklist. Facial recognition. Permanent. The alley was damp. Leo was dumped onto the pavement, his gold jacket stained. He scrambled to the coat check window, snatched his phone. You're finished, Alara. Watch this. He unlocked it, went to Instagram. Count disabled. TikTok. Suspended. Twitter. Locked. A tsunami of copyright and privacy violation reports, filed by my team, had triggered automated bans. He was a ghost in the machine. Then the email arrived. A notice from the Whitlock Family Trust. Breach of fiduciary conduct, moral clause invoked. All discretionary funds frozen. Pending review. The money was gone. He looked at the line, now snickering at him. Victor stepped out, posting a laminated photo of Leo's face with revoked in red. "You're causing a obstruction," Victor said, not unkindly. Leo's mouth opened but no sound came. He walked away, into the anonymity he'd spent his life fleeing. For weeks later, the Airy hummed with midweek calm. A courier delivered an envelope. Thick, handwritten. Leo. I held it, remembering the shy boy, the promise to his father. I had kept it. I had saved the Whitlock name from becoming a punchline. Consequences were the kindness he'd never received. Incinerate it, I told Silas, handing it back. He left. I poured 2 glasses of Charles's favorite scotch. I drank one, left the other for the empty chair. I protected your legacy, Charles, I said to the quiet room. My phone lit. Marcus. Vegas plans. Should we include a dedicated social media wall? I typed my reply no. Build thicker walls. We sell discretion. Let the noisy world stay outside. The machine was ready for another night. The guest list was absolute. And from the shadows I continued my vigil. Arrogance is a debt, and the bill always comes due. If you enjoyed this tale of quiet power, please show your support. Give this video a like and follow Winds of Thought for more stories where the universe balances its books. In the economy of respect, action is the only currency that matters.